So you have to justify how you're continuing to support murder when you don't have to.
You could say the same about what I do for a living.
What?
But because I kill rats and mice, is that murdering them?
Yeah, of course it's murdering
It
them.
needs to be done.
It doesn't need to be.
It does need to be done.
Not always.
It does.
Not always.
So if there's rats running around in your restaurant and they're making all the food contaminated,
Yeah.
and then you're feeding people contaminated food which is going to kill people, is that justified?
What's your opinion on animal abuse?
Well, I'm actually in the industry. I do pest control for a living, so I can't say too much.
Why not? You can say, you got an opinion, right?
Well, I don't think it's nice to kill farm animals in an abusive way, but it's an industry, isn't it?
Is that all right to continue to pay into it just because it's an industry?
I don't think we've got a choice, to be honest.
You have got a choice. Every time you go to the supermarket, you got a choice, right? This is the biggest injustice you have a choice and control over.
Not buying a pack of burgers isn't going to make a difference, I don't think.
Why do you not think so?
Because it just isn't.
Why do you think these industries exist?
Because people buy it.
So right, straight away, right?
Too many people buy it.
If we took that position or any other injustice and said that my contribution towards the stopping of that injustice was insignificant, you'd never get systemic change. So by everyone taking personal accountability and doing the right thing, it creates a ripple effect which gets the systemic change.
That's fair enough. I like eating meat, so I can't change that.
But how are you justifying it?
What do you mean?
What's your justification?
Because I enjoy it.
You enjoy it. It's not a justification. There's a victim. I've seen them. I've seen these animals going into slaughterhouses to have their throats slashed open. So your action, the reaction that's occurring because of it, is a murder. So you have to justify how you're continuing to support murder when you don't have to.
You could say the same about what I do for a living.
What?
But because I kill rats and mice, is that murdering them?
Yeah, of course it's murdering
It
them.
needs to be done.
It doesn't need to be.
It does need to be done.
Not always.
It does.
Not always.
So if there's rats running around in your restaurant and they're making all the food contaminated,
Yeah.
and then you're feeding people contaminated food which is going to kill people, is that justified?
There's humane traps, there's humane ways of
Yeah, it's
taking
humane,
control.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's a better way of doing it.
Yeah.
Right? Is there a better way of killing animals?
Probably if it's done humanely.
What does it look like? So how do you humanely take the life of someone who doesn't want to die?
Well, the rat doesn't want to die, but you've still got to kill it.
So it's not humane. So
to be
how
done.
do you humane? It doesn't have to be done.
Doesn't have to be
Why
done.
has it got to be done?
Because it's got to be controlled.
No, I'm talking about the animals you're eating. Why has that got to be done?
Because it's feeding millions and billions of people.
Do you think we could feed billions of people plants?
Probably.
So why don't we just choose that? Do you think that's a more ethical and moral option?
I don't know.
Not sure?
Not
All
sure.
right, so is it more ethical and moral for me to dig up carrots or to take lambs to a slaughterhouse and cut their heads off?
Well, obviously to eat the carrots.
So you have a choice to be more ethical or more moral. So why aren't you, is the question.
Because I enjoy my meat.
But that's not the justification. So then we come back to the justification. That's like, okay, I'll give you a different analogy, right? That's like saying, I'm going to go around raping people because I like the sensory pleasure of raping people. I don't care if there's a victim, I'm going to continue doing it. Is that okay for me to continue doing it?
It's a good analogy, but
It's exactly the same.
it's different.
What's the difference?
Well, I'm not killing the animals, am I?
You are when you pay for the burgers or you pay for the sausages.
Yeah, but I'm not the one killing the animal. I'd be the one going out and raping people, but I'm not the one killing the animal.
Just because you're one step removed doesn't mean that your hands are like blood free. You're still part of that system. You're still demanding them animals go into the slaughterhouse. So
Yeah.
you're just as guilty as the person who puts the knife in.
No, I don't agree with that.
If you hired a hitman to kill me, would you be guilty or the hitman?
Yeah, that's a good point, but
See what I mean? All of these things we could draw analogies to. And I'm not judging anybody because I wasn't born vegan, but I asked myself all these questions and I realised that I can't justify killing any animals or using any animals for like my personal gain, exploitation of them, wearing their skin, testing on them. There's no logical explanation to continue to do any of it to them. So the only logical explanation is just to stop, just become vegan, leave them alone.
true, but there's also a health factor to it as well.
What's that?
Well, you can get the requirements you need from a vegan diet, but
So that's it then, right?
some people need meat as well
Why?
because of the nutritional aspect of it.
But
But,
you just said you can get it all from plants.
well, maybe not all of it, but
What can't you get from plants?
in certain things.
What?
But you can't get, a great amount of protein from.
Do I look like I'm suffering from protein deficiency?
Well, no.
right? I haven't eaten animals for years,
Yeah.
or eggs, or milk. You were right in the first thing you said. You can get all the nutrition you need from plants, and everybody can get it from them.
No, I've looked into. I've been vegetarian before.
Be careful, vegetarian. Vegetarians know better than animal eaters.
Vegan, just for health aspects, but I enjoy eating my meat.
Ethically, a vegetarian's no better than a meat eater. Cows are raped, their babies are killed, chickens go into blenders. So just because that you're eating what comes out of the animals, it doesn't mean that the ethics and morals behind it are okay.
Yeah, I get that.
So veganism is the baseline. That's the only one that's not going to exploit animals. But by coming back to just, I like my meat, it's all right for you. You're in that position of power. You have that choice. But if you were the victim, say you were looking at me and I was just going, I don't really care, it's my choice. I'm going to continue doing it. But you're the victim. And I'm not talking about you're a victim of like, I'm going to take the piss out of people who wear white hats and you're going to feel upset about it. You're a victim of you're going to be forced inside a gas chamber, lowered into CO2 gas and have your throat slashed open. It's not just like a little victim of bullying or, harassment. They're being killed. So your position of power and like being a bit like, it doesn't matter really, it's a privileged position to be in. And if it was the other way around, would you accept that?
Well, probably not, but I'm not in that position, so I can't relate to it.
Right, but you can empathise, right? I hope you can empathise.
Well, there's stuff going on all around the world. You can't help everyone, can you?
No, but you don't contribute towards all that evil purposefully all around the world every day, right? But you probably consume animal products on a daily basis.
Probably, yeah.
So on a daily basis, you are funding these. There's a lot of evil all over the place, but I don't feel like you're probably personally funding wars and all that sort of stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you're not giving them money.
Well, if you're paying tax to the government, they're getting involved in wars then.
But but you're not like, sending money out to whoever's fighting whoever at the moment to like publicly fund their wars.
No.
Whereas you're going to the supermarket and you're funding slaughterhouses and gas chambers and farmers and all these sort of things.
Yeah.
So your position of power, you have the ability to stop. What is preventing you from changing?
Nothing really.
So why won't you change?
It's the way I am.
I was the same way, but I changed once I knew. Do you see what I mean? Once you know, you can make the change. When you're conditioned, I was conditioned to eat animals, I didn't know any better. You're sort of removed from it. You're not really held accountable to it. But when you've had a conversation that's been brought to light, you are accountable for your actions.
Well, I think if I went to an animal slaughterhouse and I watched it happen, it might change my outlook on it. But if you don't see it, you don't really hear about it, know about it, do you?
Of course, hands behind closed doors.
I understand, so that's why you guys are here doing anything.
Let me give you this, right? Take this card. There's a really good website on there. Go to a chat on there by a guy called Gary Yourofsky, called The Greatest Speech You'll Ever Hear. It's a bald guy with glasses. There's slaughterhouse footage in there. I urge you to watch it, and I think if you're going to pay for it, then I think you should watch it. If you can't watch it, then that's a good indication you shouldn't be paying for it.
Yeah, that's it with me.
All right, mate. Nice to be a good chat, mate. Have a good day, mate.
Take care.